this video. Hopefully it turns out okay. The battery on my phone right now, not my phone, my regular camera, is dead. So I thought I'd just make do with what I got. I'm reading my article on polar bears from Wikipedia. So, a polar bear versus Maritimus is a carnivorous bear whose native range lies within the Arctic Circle, encompassing the Arctic Ocean, its surrounding seas, and surrounding land masses. It's the largest extant bear species, as well as the largest extant land carnivore. A boar, an adult male, weighs around 350 to 700 kilograms, or 770 to 1,540 pounds, while a sow, adult female, is about half that size. Although it is the sister species of the brown bear, it has evolved to occupy a narrower ecological niche, with many body characteristics adapted for cold temperatures. We're moving across snow, ice, and open water, and for hunting seals, which make up most of its diet. Although most polar bears are born on land, they spend most of their time on the sea ice. Their scientific name means maritime bear and derives from this fact. Polar bears hunt their preferred food of seals from the edge of the sea ice, often living off fat reserves when no sea ice is present. Because of their dependence on sea ice, polar bears are classified as marine mammals. Because of expected habitat loss caused by climate change, the polar bear is classified as a vulnerable species. For decades, large-scale hunting raised international concern for the future of this species. But populations rebounded after controls and quotas began to take effect. For thousands of years, a polar bear has been a key figure in the material, spiritual, and cultural life of circumpolar peoples. And polar bears remain important in their cultures. Historically, the polar bear has also been known as the white bear, and is sometimes referred to as the Nanook, based on the Inuit term Nanook. Constantine. Now this is naming and etymology. Etymology, I should say. Constantine John Rebs was the first to describe the polar bear as a distinct species. In 1774, in his report about his 1773 expedition towards the North Pole, he chose a scientific name, Artis maritimus, the Latin for maritime bear, due to the animal's native habitat. The Inuit referred to the animal as Nanook, transliterated as Nanook in the Nanook I guess you'd say, and in Yupik language, the Yupik also referred to the bear as Nanook. In Siberian Yupik, the bear is Amka in the Chukchi language. In Russian, it is usually called, I can't read that, white bear. Though an older word is still used, is Oshkosh, which comes from the Komi bear. In Quebec, a polar bear is referred to as Ars blank, white bear, or Ars polar bear. In the Norwegian administered Svalbard archipelago, the polar bear is referred to as Isborn ice bear. The polar bear was previously considered to be in its own genus, Thalactros. However, evidence of hybrids between polar bears and brown bears and a recent evolutionary divergence of the two species does not support the establishment of this separate genus, when the accepted scientific name is now therefore versus Maritimus, as Phillips originally proposed. Taxonomy and evolution. The bear family, today, is thought to have split from the carnivorans about 38 million years ago. The subfamily, Arsinae, originated Trisan, approximated 4.2 million years ago. The oldest known polar bear fossil is 130,000 to 110,000 year old jawbone found on the Prince Charles Foreland in 2004. Fossils show that between 10,000 and 20,000 years ago, the polar bear's molar teeth changed significantly from those of the brown bear. Polar bears are thought to have diverged from a population of brown bears that became isolated during a period of glaciation. And the Pleistocene from the eastern part of Siberia, from Kamchatka and the Kolyam Peninsula. The evidence from DNA analysis is more complex. The mitochondrial DNA, mtDNA, of the polar bear diverged from the brown bear versus Arctos roughly 150,000 years ago. Further, some clades of brown bear, as assessed by their mtDNA, were thought to be more closely related to the polar bears than to other brown bears, meaning that the polar bear might not be considered a species under some species concepts by paraphyletic. That mtDNA of the extinct Irish brown bears is particularly close to polar bears. A comparison of the nuclear genome of polar bears with that of brown bears revealed the different pattern by two forming genetically distinct approximately 603,000 years ago that brown bears were revealed. 603,000 years ago. Sorry. Although the latest research is based on the analysis of the complete genomes rather than just the mitochondria, partial nuclear genomes of polar and brown bears, and established the divergence of polar brown bears, and brown bears rather, at 400,000 years ago. However, the two species have mated intermittently for all that time, most likely coming into contact with each other during warming periods when polar bears were driven onto land and brown bears migrated northward. Most brown bears have about 2% genetic material from polar bears, but one population, the ABC island bears, has between 5% and 10% polar bear genes, indicating more frequent and recent mating. Polar bears can breed with brown bears to produce fertile grizzly polar bear hybrids, rather than indicating that they have only recently diverged. The new evidence suggests more frequent mating has continued for a longer period of time, and thus the two bears remain genetically similar. However, because neither species can survive long in the other's ecological niche, and because they have different morphology, metabolism, social and feeding behaviors, and other phenotypic characteristics, the two bears are genetically classified as separate species. When the polar bear was originally documented, two subspecies were identified: American polar bear, Ursus maritimus, by Constantine J. Phipps in 1774, and Siberian polar bear, Ursus maritimus marminus, by Peter Simon Ballas in 1776. This distinction has since been invalidated. One alleged fossil subspecies has been identified: Ursus maritimus tyrannus, which became extinct during the Pleistocene. Tyrannus was significantly larger than the living subspecies. However, recent reanalysis of fossils suggests that it was actually a brown bear. Population and distribution. A polar bear is found in the Arctic Circle and adjacent land masses as far as Newfoundland. Due to the absence of human development and its remote habitat, it retains more of its original range than any other extant carnivore. Extant carnivore. While they are rare north of 88 degrees, there is evidence that they range all the way across the Arctic and as far south as James Bay, Canada. Their southernmost range is near the boundary between the subarctic and humid continental drift widely with the sea ice. And there have been anecdotal sightings as far south as Berlevag on the Norwegian mainland and the Coral Islands and the Sea of Okhotsk. It is difficult to estimate a global population of polar bears as much as the range has been poorly studied. However, biologists use a working estimate of 20 to 25,000 or 22 to 31,000 polar bears worldwide. There are 19 generally recognized discrete subpopulations, though polar bears are thought to exist in only in low densities in the area of the Arctic basin. The subpopulations display a seasonal fidelity to particular areas, but DNA studies show that they are not reproductively isolated. The 13 North American subpopulations range from the Beaufort Sea, south to Hudson's Bay, and east to Baffin Bay in western Greenland, and account for about 54% of the global population. The range includes the territory of 5 nations: Denmark, Greenland,